Gangs like the Four Corner Hustlers pose a real threat to our communities. They engage in drug trafficking of dangerous drugs such as fentanyl, cocaine, and heroin. Working side by side with the law enforcement agencies represented here today, we leveraged our resources and conducted a thorough investigation, which led to multiple arrests and seizures. We recognize there's more to be done, but we will continue and stand committed to work tirelessly to protect the communities that we serve and bring those who threaten our public safety to justice. Thank you.
In the heart of Chicago, in the shadowed alleys of 1968, an eerie transformation was set in motion. Two Vice Lord teenagers, their hearts pumping with the desire to protect their embattled West Garfield Park neighborhood, devised a chilling plan to ward off looming darkness. And that darkness was gangs who sought out to destroy their community. This was the birth of the Four Corner Hustlers, but their mission was more than just self-preservation. It was a poetic vow to protect all who called this neighborhood home. Now, their realm stretched from Madison Street in the north to Jackson Boulevard in the south, from Independence in the east to Pulaski Road in the west. Every street corner was their battlefield, from Jackson and Springfield to Pulaski and Adams. Leading this audacious charge was a 17-year-old renegade by the name of Walter Wheat, who had severed ties with the unknown Vice Lords. Alongside him was a 15-year-old visionary by the name of Marvin Evans. Together, they ignited a revolution that would engulf the neighborhood. 4CH. Now, their union was bolstered by a man named Freddie Gage, who would soon rise to become the second in command. Richard Left Hand Goodman and Monroe Banks joined forces with approximately 7 others, crafting a formidable team. The Four Corner Hustlers wasted no time as they flipped the West Garfield Park unknown Vice Lords, forever extinguishing their influence within the neighborhood. Their tale is bone-chilling, a deeper chapter in history where the urban streets became their haunting battleground. But it all began with 2 teenagers driven by a relentless desire to protect their urban sanctuary, the hood, the neighborhood. This is the legend of the Four Corner Hustlers, etched in the annals of the West Garfield Park's eerie history in Chicago, Illinois. Let's dive into it. Now, in the heart of the concrete jungle, a gang unlike any other emerged. They were not about drugs or destroying their own community. No, their mission was different: to crush any rival gang that dared bring chaos to their sacred four corners. This sinister pact was sealed at the Lano Playground, where Springfield and Wilcox intersected. The Four Corner Hustlers lived by strict rules: no drug dealing, no using, not even a puff of weed, no muggings, no break-ins, but shoplifting and stealing from delivery trucks, that was fair game. And when it came to rival gangs, well, brutality was a must. Shootings, stabbings, skull cracking, whatever it took to assert complete dominance. As the year 1968 unfurled, another gang, the Supreme Gangsters, descended upon West Garfield Park. Originating from the south side of Chicago, they launched their West Side campaign near Gladys and Keeler, mere blocks from the Four Corner Hustlers. The Supreme Gangsters were notorious drug peddlers, and they unleashed a relentless recruitment drive. Now, listen up. Their main adversaries were the Jive Fives and the Black Pimps, both sworn enemies of the original Fours. The Supreme Gangsters swiftly absorbed the Pimps and Jives, amassing more power. This marked the inception of the indomitable gangster disciples in the West Garfield Park neighborhood. The birth of the Supreme Gangsters on their turf ignited the spark that birthed the Four Corner Hustlers. Meanwhile, just west of Pulaski and north of the Supreme Gangsters, the Black Souls gang spread its roots, becoming allies of the Fours. In the shadowy urban community, alliances were forged in darkness, and the chilling legacy began to unfurl. Let's dive into it. Now, listen up. On February 14, 1972, members of the Four Corner Hustlers and unknown vice lords covered upon a Valentine Day gathering at 3906 Lexington Avenue, situated at the corner of Springfield and Lexington near the Presentation Catholic Church in Chicago, Illinois. This event was strictly by invitation, and Officer Henderson Arnold enforced a rule. Attendees had to possess a valid membership card to enter the basement where the dance took place. Among the attendees was 18-year-old Freddie Gage, who lacked the necessary invitation. Officer Arnold confronted Freddie Gage, instructing him to leave the premises. But when Freddie Gage refused, a confrontation ensued between the officer and Freddie Gage, which led up to a gunshot from Arnold's firearm. The bullet struck Officer Arnold in the face and neck, plunging the atmosphere into a sinister darkness. Now, following this initial shot, a four-corner hustler by the name of Leo Walker produced a .22 caliber and opened fire on the officer. Concurrently, Freddie Gage and Walter Wheat wrestled with the wounded officer, according to the court's records. As Officer Arnold struggled to escape, he found himself under fire, enduring 3 gunshot wounds. By the grace of God, he survived, but required surgery to mend the damage that had been inflicted upon him. Subsequently, Frederick King Freddie Gage was sentenced to serve a 10-year prison term for his involvement in this attempted murder. This incident marked the first documented recognition of the Four Corner Hustlers, although their presence remained relatively small until later developments, as recorded in the case of People versus Walker in 1975. Google it. Now, in 1975, Walter Wheat found himself sentenced to over 10 years in prison on aggravated assault and related charges. Without the presence of King Walter Wheat and King Freddie Gage, the Four Corner Hustlers began to veer into the forbidden territory of the heroin trade. Around this time, the Black Souls gang was gaining strength in West Garfield Park and sought to expand their drug operations. A man by the name of Wayne Jack Bobo Edwards, their new leader, eyed an opportunity at Monroe and Pulaski, a location that was originally Four Corner Hustlers' turf. Jack Bobo proposed a partnership, suggesting they work together against the Vice Lords and the Supreme Gangsters. This collaboration gave rise to the 440 Plus concept, uniting the Four Corner Hustlers and the Black Souls. Although it marked a modest entry into the drug trade for the Four Corner Hustlers, operating at a significant scale remained impossible due to the watchful eyes of imprisoned gang leaders. Their urban legacy became entangled with the eerie influence of the heroin trade. Now, in late October 1983, King Freddie Gage was on the verge of freedom, about to step out of prison after a 10-year stretch for attempting to murder a Chicago police officer during the 1972 Valentine's Day shooting. The day before his release, he indulged in some questionable moonshine, a dark omen that claimed his life at just 29 years old. On November 1st, 1983, a colossal funeral service gathered for King Freddie Gage drew a staggering 5,000 mourners or more. The assembly included Vice Lords, Four Corner Hustlers, and others from the streets. The procession stretched along Chicago Avenue, disrupting traffic flow, with Chicago police forced to intervene. The news of his passing made the front page of the Chicago Tribune. Oddly, they labeled him a conservative Vice Lord leader, completely omitting any mention of the Four Corner Hustlers. It was a testament to the Four's relatively obscurity in Chicago at that time, but change loomed on the horizon. With the burial of King Freddie Gage, one of the nation's main founders found his final rest. R.I.P. Now, in the grim 1980s, the Four Corner Hustlers ventured deeper into the gritty drug trade. Marvin Shorty Evans had retired for religion, leaving only Walter Wheat and Monroe Banks as the original leaders, both of them behind bars. In 1986, Monroe Money Banks tasted freedom, and so did Walter Wheat in the same year. Banks hit the streets, discovering that the Four Corner Hustlers had shifted to small-scale drug dealing, lured by the allure of quick cash. Banks had bigger plans, introducing them to the world of crack cocaine. He set up an intricate drug operation, expanding the Four Corner Hustlers' territory north into the Austin neighborhood, marking the real beginning of their growth. Money began flowing in, and Monroe Banks lived up to his nickname, Money. He also introduced the black diamond symbol to represent their newfound wealth and power. This newfound prosperity came at a chilling cost. Violence escalated as profit became the ultimate goal. Walter Wheat, upon his release, saw the change and did not want any part of the drug trade. But his influence still lingered, causing tensions within the organization. As the 1980s progressed, the Four Corner Hustlers' deep dive into drugs led to more violent convictions. Angelo Roberts, a future leader, found himself entangled in a murder case alongside co-founder Eugene Ronnie. In 1988, the Chicago police discovered Stephen Edwards' lifeless body behind a grocery store, beaten, tied up, and tortured. The gruesome details painted a horrifying picture. Edwards had ties to the original Four Corner Hustlers territory. Now, Eugene Ronnie initially claimed Edwards had left with others, eventually confessed to the murder, describing it as a form of protection. Forensic evidence revealed a brutal assault, leading to Ronnie's conviction in a life sentence. Angelo Roberts, loyal to the organization, remained silent during the police interview, strengthening his reputation as a leader. Despite being suspected of shooting a police officer in 1990, Roberts managed to avoid conviction. Eugene Ronnie, however, still serves a life sentence without parole, his violent past sealing his fate. As time proceeded, in the eerie shadows of the Solid Foes underworld, a sinister transformation was underway. A new generation of killers emerged. Disciples of Monroe Banks, echoing his ruthless ways, they heeded to his teachings, embodying his dark legacy. Monroe Banks, a man unyielding in his quest for supremacy, fanned the flames of gang warfare well into the early 1990s, but his iron grip could not shield him from the Grim Reaper. In August of 1991, the History Channel's Gangland tells us a chilling tale. Banks met his end while watching a man rescue a cat from a tree, a ruse that masks his assassin's intent. A Black Souls member delivered a fatal shot, plunging the streets into even darker turmoil. With Banks' demise, power hung in the air, a dangerous void waiting to be filled. Walter Wheat refused to step aside, instead anointing Angelo Roberts, his soon-to-be son-in-law, as the new commander. At just 21 years old, Angelo Roberts harbored grand ambitions for the gang, envisioning the Four Corner Hustlers as a super gang. See, Walter Wheat hoped that entrusting the organization to the father of his grandchild, that it would bring control and order. Yet Angelo Roberts had other plans, expanding the Solid Foes further and infiltrating new territories, even into the once white and increasingly Hispanic Belmont Cragen neighborhood in 1991. The darkness, yes, the darkness of their influence continued to spread, leaving the streets fraught in terror. Now, under Angelo Roberts, the Four Corner Hustlers expanded their grip on black youth in the West Side projects with promises of wealth, respect, and hefty profits. The black youth flocked to join the ranks. Angelo's influence extended even further, flipping grounds from other gangs like Gangster Stones and Vice Lords to embrace the Four Corner Hustlers banner. In 1991, The hood bore witness to a crack cocaine operation within the Henry Horner Projects, Rockwell Garden Projects, and Maplewood Court Projects, all nested in the near West Side neighborhood. The Four Corner Hustlers grew mighty within these walls, cementing their dominance. When the city planned to demolish these projects in the 2000s, the Four Corner Hustlers already had their next move plotted, ensuring their presence in the near West Side streets. The hood became their permanent home, even as the neighborhood gentrified over the years. But back to Angelo Roberts. Angelo Roberts dismantled the gang's racial boundaries, welcoming members of all races in the north and suburbs. Their ranks swelled quickly, surpassing 1,000 members. Angelo's influence extended to other states like Atlanta, Georgia, where his legacy thrived. In the Rockwell Garden and Henry Horner homes, a vast drug operation also thrived, dealing in millions of dollars worth of crack and heroin. The Chicago police struck back, launching a major raid that landed Angelo Roberts in prison. Upon his release in June of 1994, legal troubles awaited him. Rumors swirled that he harbored sinister plans, including an alleged plot to blow up the Chicago District 11's police station, location 3151 West Harrison Street. But the chilling climax came on July 25th, 1994, when it is alleged that Angelo Roberts orchestrated the demise of Walter Wheat as Wheat waited in his car on West Chicago Avenue. A 17-year-old by the name of Bobby Cooley, shirtless and armed with a 9mm pistol, approached. 2 shots rang out, killing Wheat. The founder and long-standing leader of the Four Corner Hustlers had met his end at the hands of his own gang. Cooley, later apprehended, now serves a life sentence for the murder of King Walter Wheat. The hood's darkest secrets remain buried within the concrete streets. Now, as time proceeded, Angelo Roberts sought out a deadly arsenal, striking a sinister deal with who he believed were fellow drug lords. His goal was to acquire an Anlaw's anti-tank rocket, offering a mix of cash and drugs. But he did not know that he was dancing with undercover cops and ATF agents in the shadows. However, in a chilling twist of fate, Angelo Roberts did not get arrested on the scene, but he went away and became suspicious, and he disappeared into the rest of 1994. The word on the street is that he intended to blow up the District 11 police headquarters, nested at 3151 West Harrison Street on Chicago's unforgiving West Side. Revenge was his motive, an act of retribution for disrupting his drug empire within the housing projects. Then, on a fateful night, January 16th, 1995, at around 1 a.m., CPD stumbled upon Angelo Roberts' lifeless body. He lay near 70th South Vernon Street, right by the Omnibus Park Manor apartments in the Greater Grand Crossing neighborhood. His throat had been slashed. A shroud silence cloaked this horrifying act, and no one was ever held accountable for the chilling murder of Angelo Roberts. Now, nobody knows whether Angelo Roberts truly intended to blow up the police station or not. But one thing is certain is that he had a long-standing feud with the Chicago Police Department. His conflict with the police could have paved the way to his grim demise. Street whispers speculate that law enforcement played a sinister role. Now, Freddie Gage died while drinking alcohol. Monroe Banks was shot dead by a rival gang member. Walter Wheat also shot dead by his own gang members. Angelo Roberts found dead in the back of a trunk with his throat slashed. And this is how it all ended for the leaders of the Four Corner Hustlers. Peace. Dear youth, man, I want to speak to you from the depths of my heart today, all right, to impress upon you the importance of the choices you make in life. It's a chilling reality that I must share, but it's one that could save you from the path of darkness and despair, okay? Now listen, man. Crime, drug dealing, and gangs may seem tempting at times, right? Promising quick gains in a sense of belonging. But I implore you to consider the consequences. The path of crime and gangs often leads to two places, all right? Jail or worse, death. All right, now follow me. In the Bible, follow me, stick with me. In the Bible, Proverbs 1:10-19 warns us, all right? It warns us against the allure of those who entice us into doing evil, into doing sin. And it says, my son, if sinful men entice you, do not give in to them. If they say, come along with us, come with me, let's lie in wait for innocent blood. Let's lie in wait to hit a lick. All right. Let's ambush some harmless soul. Let's swallow them alive. All right. Like the grave. Okay. Like those who go down the pit, we will get all sorts of valuable things and fill our houses with plunder. Cast lots with us. We will all share the loot. I'm quoting the Bible. We will all share the loot, the money. This is the word of God talking to you. All right. It says, my son, do not go along with them. Do not go along with the evildoer. Do not set your foot on their path. All right. For their feet rush into evil. They are swift to shed innocent blood. All right. And we all know them. Instead, choose a life of righteousness, guided by faith and a higher purpose. It's a path filled with hope, love, and genuine fulfillment. All right. You don't have to follow the footsteps of an Angelo Roberts or Walter Weed or Monroe Banks or Freddie Gage or whoever. And this is no disrespect to them, because I guarantee if those brothers would come back, they would tell you what I'm telling you. All right. Their lives ended in tragedy, proving that evil deeds do not lead to lasting fulfillment and happiness. OK, I urge you to steer clear of drugs, criminal activity, and gangs. All right. Be the light in your community, inspiring positive change. Seek guidance from mentors who can help you grow in wisdom and in character. Remember, your life is precious, and your choices today will shape your future tomorrow. Choose God, choose righteousness, and choose a life that leads to fulfillment and lasting peace. Stay away from the gang life, the drug life, the criminal life. All right. Your potential is limitless when you walk the path of righteousness. That's heartfelt sincerity coming from me. I'm gone.